Alright, you peasants. It's time to meet your straw man. What am I talking about? I don't know. But let's get into this book and find out. We're going to start with a quiz. What do we got on the back here? We know what that place is. Let's pretend that that's the Australian Parliament House because they're all the same garbage anyway. Now, for this quiz, I'm going to ask you, who meets there? What do they do there? And do they help you in any way? And if your answers were, they're the members of the government. They represent all the people living in the country. And yes, they create laws to protect me and my family. Then let me congratulate you on getting every single question wrong. And you didn't do too well on that quiz, did you? But it's okay, let's have another go. When was slavery abolished? Was slavery legal? Are you in debt to a financial institution? Let's come up with these answers, alright? They are the serving officers of a commercial corporation. They think up ways to take money and goods from you. And no, absolutely not. They help themselves and not you. Slavery has never been abolished, and you yourself are considered to be a slave right now. Yes, slavery is legal, although it is not lawful, and you need to discover the difference. And no, you are not in debt to any financial institution. Does this seem a little strange to you? And if it does, then listen on. Those in power, they have a big secret. Paying tax, that's optional. Registering your vehicle, that's optional. Paying a fine, optional. Attending a court, you guessed it, optional. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Are you surprised? Well, try this on for size. Every mortgage and loan is fully repaid from day one. You can pay it again if you want to, but you don't have to. If nobody has told you that you have a straw man, then this could be a very interesting experience for you. Your straw man was created when you were very young, far too young to know anything about it, but then it was meant to be a secret, as its purpose is to swindle you, and it has been used very effectively to do just that ever since it was created. Perhaps it is about time that you learnt about your straw man, and how you can stop it being used against you. Knowing about it is the most important first step. You need to go on a journey of discovery, and I'm afraid that what you are about to discover is not very pleasant. However, if you decide to act on what you learn, it could change your life for the better. If you think that you are in debt, then you can get out of it if you are willing to stand up for your rights and refuse to be swindled any longer. Interested? If so, then let's start at the beginning and find out where your straw man came from and why you should care about it. It all started when your parents had a happy event and you entered the world. You don't know exactly when that was because you were not aware of the days of the week, the months of the year, or even what year it was. Even after some months had gone by, you still were not aware of these things. But by that time, your straw man had already been created, and it was being used to make some very unscrupulous people rich. None of this was your fault. It happened because your parents were fooled into thinking that they needed to register your birth and get a birth certificate for you. So they applied for a birth certificate, not understanding what would happen when they did. Well, then what did happen? Well, according to the local authority, they lost ownership of their baby, which is you, and they allowed a straw man to be created. That is not something which they can be blamed for, as nobody told them it would or even could happen. Nor did anybody tell your parents what a straw man is or how it can be used against their baby. In actual fact, the registration is a contract which is, in reality, null and void because there was no full disclosure by the local authority, nor was there intent to contract on the part of your parents. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. The registering of a baby's birth passes ownership of the baby to the local authority, and that alone allows the local authority to take the child away from the parents if they ever want to do that. This applies until the child reaches the age of maturity set by the current legal statutes. Doing that is not lawful, but after the birth has been registered, it is legal, and there is a world of difference between those two terms, a difference which it is very important that you come to clearly understand. So what is a straw man? A strawman is a facetious legal entity created with the hope that, as the child grows up, he will be fooled into believing that he is actually the strawman, which he most definitely is not, and pay all sorts of imaginary costs and liabilities which get attached to the strawman by con artists. How is a strawman created? Well, the mechanism involves that unnecessary birth certificate which the parents imagine is about and belongs to their baby, neither of which is actually true. If the baby has been named James and the family name is Martin, then you would expect the birth certificate to have the name James Martin printed on it. If that is what is printed on it, then all is well and it is a genuine birth certificate and nothing more. However, if any other name is there, then the document is not a birth certificate, but instead is the creation of a strawman masquerading as James Martin. The alternative entries might be anything of examples of James Martin in all caps, Mr. James Martin, Martin Mr. James, or anything else which is not exactly James Martin and nothing else. Why create a strawman? The answer is in order to charge the strawman imaginary costs and penalties and fool the human James Martin into paying those amounts. These imaginary charges include income tax, council tax, inheritance tax, capital gains tax, road tax, import tax, value added tax, fuel levy, loan interest, bank charges, and anything else that full-time professionals can think up and are confident that you will not notice that you never agreed to pay and don't need to pay. Legalese. The legalese is a secret language invented to trick you. It uses English words but attaches secret meanings to those words with the sole intention of stopping you from believing that what they are saying to you has nothing to do with the normal meaning in the English language. Their purpose is to cheat you and rob you. We're going to stop it there. 7-minute intervals. And we will return to read more of Your Strawman tomorrow. Much love. Freedom!